Hi,
Hi,
I guess. Hey.
Welcome to our podcast.
This is going to be a bit of a mess, this first episode, because we're trying to iron out all the kinks and figure out what we're doing. I hope the mic sounds okay, because it's brand new as well, so it could sound absolutely shocking, for all I know.
For $200 it shouldn't, so...
Hopefully not, because I really tried for this one.
It has been 2 hours, and we've only just gone and started, so let's hope everything goes to track.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
So this is our new podcast. We talk about animals and anything in between, basically.
Pretty much, we're both a little bit obsessed with animals of
Very.
all kinds, and we're allowed like this much of the world's selection of animals because we're in New Zealand. If you don't know, if you're not following us already.
Oh yeah, should we do an introduction?
Yeah, I guess we should probably.
Yeah.
That we should. Yeah.
Okay, I'll start. I'm Pansy, I'm 23, I live in Auckland, New Zealand. I have, compared to you now, I have like nothing. I have a cat, I have a ragdoll called Sage, who is a 6-year-old rescue. I have a bearded dragon called Ocho, a turtle called Alfie. And that's it. I used to have a lot more. I used to have rabbits, I used to have fish.
She had a lot of
Yeah.
things. You had a water dragon at one stage.
Yes, I had a water dragon at one stage, but yeah, I love animals and I've loved them since I was a baby. I remember my mum used to take me to like the parks and stuff, and all I used to do was like just sit and like watch the ducks, and she was like, oh, let's buy Pansy a duck, and Dad was like, nah.
I don't think so.
How about you? You've got your list is a lot longer.
Oh yeah. My name is Shasa. I'm 25. I live in Auckland, New Zealand as well. I have like 15 animals in my house at the moment, 4 of which are rescue leopard geckos that recently, in the last couple of weeks, came to me. That is a whole nother subject that I'll explain at some point, but
Definitely.
there's way too much to go into. But I have a bearded dragon, I have blue-tongued skink, I have 2 of my own leopard geckos, which are right behind us if you're watching on YouTube. I have like 5 fish or something. 5 fish, yeah. Cat, rabbit. Yeah, there's a lot. Everything kind of just exploded. Once I became an adult and was like, okay,
buy your own shit.
Yeah, like I've always loved animals. I've always had a lot of animals, and it's something I just love them, you know? Just love them. But I've always just taken in weird little things off the street. My poor parents. One time I came home with a guinea pig and my mum freaked out, and then she fell in love with it, and she herself went out while I was at work or school. I think I was at school, and she bought it a mate because she was like, it can't be by itself, because me being dumb and like I think I was like 14, like don't let your anywho, I've always loved them, and yeah, just we became friends.
That's the passion
because
we
of
share.
animals.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I remember I used to tell my friends that Shazza hit me up on Instagram. They're like, oh, someone hit you up on Instagram, like trying to like get it, like trying to like slide into your DMs. And I'm like, oh, no, not in that way. No, we're like best friends now. Like, no, not in that way. But like, it's so weird how nowadays you can meet so many people online through social media, and it's great being able to intertwine and connect with people.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like, I don't think Pansy knows this, but how I found Pansy's Instagram in the first place was I was looking up a terrarium that I wanted to get, and I chucked it into YouTube, and your videos are the only ones that popped up, and I was like, yo, bitch, yes! Excuse my French. But I thought you were Australian, and I was like, oh, okay, like, because I think you mentioned being in Australia at one point or something, and I was like, oh, okay, well, never mind. Anywho, carry on. And then you popped up on the Explore page on Instagram, that day, and I was like, oh my god, that's so bizarre. So I just followed you, and I was like, this is cool. And then I realised you're from New Zealand, and I was like, yo, let's be friends.
Where's my friends? Yeah. That is cute. That is cute.
And it turns out we live like 40 minutes away from each other.
So not far.
So,
same island at least.
Yeah, that's at least in the same half of the island, which is nice.
Yeah. But yeah, this podcast is basically going to be our normal chats that we would have normally if we weren't having it here, but we honestly chit-chat about the most random animal things, and lucky you get to join in on that.
Yeah, we usually just sit here for hours and just blabber on
about our animals and stuff.
Yeah, we figured some people might want to join in on the conversation, so I also want to say, like, we aren't experts in anything. We've both worked in pet stores, like currently work in a pet store, and she has worked in a pet store. Two very different types of pet stores as well, which is pretty cool because we can talk about things that, you know, vary.
Yes.
But we aren't experts, so all the stuff that we are going to be talking about on this podcast is a lot of it is just stuff we've learnt from the internet. So it might be wrong, and if you know that it's, you know, something that's right and you have, like, the link to it or something, please share it. Like, I love learning, and this is going to be such a huge, like, learning opportunity, hopefully for us. And I think it's going to be really beneficial because we're so stuck with a really small, limited amount of animals in New Zealand.
Definitely.
It's tiny. We have, like, 6 exotic pets that you can have, and there's no importing, no exporting. No, you can export, but you can't import of any sort of reptiles or amphibians or anything like that. So no snakes at all. So sorry, this podcast is, if you hear about snakes, it's us going, oh my god, I want one.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Nothing else.
Yeah. But I just figured I'd give you a bit of a rundown. I feel a bit nervous. I don't want anyone to think that we're, like, trying to push an agenda or, like,
definitely not.
pretend that we're experts, because I'm far from an expert. Like,
not at all.
I'm just a mum. I'm just an animal mum.
But we do have our Instagrams. Put it in the bios.
On the screen somewhere.
Yeah, so we will do this on most podcast platforms and YouTube, so you can follow us on either. Yeah.
I think we're going to, I can't give you an exact list of which platforms yet, because we're going to try and figure that out. And
there's plenty of platforms nowadays.
Yeah,
so.
Just trying to finesse all of that. So it'll take a while to get everything really figured out.
Definitely.
And, I mean, this is all probably going to change a little bit as well, and you've got to start somewhere, right?
It's nice. It's nice for now. All right, should we get on to our animal news for the week?
Yeah. I'll let you go first.
I'll start off? Okay.
Yeah.
So this was a real effed up one that I found. So scientists in Japan got the clearance for growing human-animal hybrids. So basically they're using human cells to grow organs in a mouse or rats, and then eventually allowing the embryos to be carried... These words make no sense to me. So basically they're going to grow human cells in a rodent, and the end goal is to have a human organ for transplant, basically, in rats.
That's slightly terrifying, but also amazing.
Right? But I was thinking, a rat is small.
It's a start.
I mean, I don't know how science works, but I was like, that is an epic idea if they can grow, like, human cells inside of a rat, and then...
Like, I mean,
if someone needs a heart transplant.
Yeah, I mean, all the people with, like, cystic fibrosis who need a pair of lungs, like, somebody who needs a heart, somebody might need just a valve, but that can not have to be taken from a cadaver, and it could be done in a really clean, sterile environment. I mean, like, when you're taking body parts from somebody, there is a risk from...
That's what they said. They said it was to mainly stop the black market of basically, you know, human trafficking and stealing, you know, human stuff.
Good.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of about time, but also that's a
terrifying. That's a terrifying thing that rats can basically have human cells and, you know, have our hearts growing inside of them, but it's epic. If it turns out to be good.
I see it in my lifetime. I was like, this stuff will come for, like, my grandkids, you know? But congrats to Japan scientists. Yeah, good on you, because somebody's got to do it, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
very true.
I'm all for medicine. It's amazing what we can do and the amount of people we can keep alive and keep thriving. And I don't know, like, the amount of my family members thinking back, you know, what would happen if science had come so far. I know animal testing is a very touchy subject, and I'm not really going to go into that because I pull all heartstrings, you know, like, I see both sides of the coin.
To be honest, you know, if, I don't know, 10,000 rats die for 20 million humans to live on, I see the benefit there, but I also see the benefit in the negativity in the rats suffering for us.
Exactly, like,
there's not much of a balance.
No, like, if rats were testing on humans, and then we'd be like, cool, fair game, guys.
Yeah,
like, sorry, choking on my own hair. If rats were testing on humans, I don't think there would be much of an argument. It would just be like, cool, well, what's fair is fair, I guess. But yeah, there is a weird fine line of this is very not good, but also there's so many things that medical advancements would not have been made. Like,
Yes,
it's just
totally.
they wouldn't have been done, and we wouldn't have half of the technology we have and medicine we have if it wasn't for that. So I am thankful for the lives that were lost in the process. Like, I'm very grateful for that, because I don't think medicine should be taken lightly in the process. Like, it takes a lot, you know?
Definitely.
It's not black and white, and I think it's very unfair to think of it being black and white. So I think it's cool that there's ways that people are trying to do things, but also very scary.
Very.
Very scary. I'm very torn on the subject. So
Yeah.
Very torn.
Have you got better news then?
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of have to read this article a little bit because it's a bit hard. I'm not very smart.
Me neither. That's why I struggled in reading. And even I wrote this. Sorry, I was bullshitting. I didn't copy and paste this. I wrote this myself, and I still couldn't read it. So
yeah, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. So if I stumble over my words a thousand times, I apologize.
it's alright.
But just basically the headline says it all. So that's why I'm kind of having to read it, because there's not really any other way I can put it. But bats use leaves as mirrors to find prey in the dark, which was previously completely thought to be impossible. They hover around them. I'm just gonna read it because I'm not a scientist, so this is just it's a bit yeah. Anyhow, I'm just gonna read the summary.
Okay.
Bats can find motion. All right, good start.
Two words in, go.
Bats can find motionless insects on leaves in the dark. This was thought to be impossible because of the acoustic camouflage provided by the leaves. Oh God. Okay, I'm going to try that for a third time. And if I can't get that right, I'm going to get Pansy to read it, because I'm so nervous. I'm kind of shaking.
It's not from the coffees that we've had this morning.
And we've never filmed sitting down together either. We've only either been...
I know no one's there, but I'm still so nervous.
I know, me too. I know, it doesn't really matter. It's just our first one, but...
We were also just talking about our upper lip sweat that we're about to have, so...
Yeah. If you see a lot of the shine, I have some highlighter on, but a lot of it's going to be sweat.
Mainly sweat. And it's
middle
winter.
of winter.
Oh my goodness. Okay, come on, third try.
I'm not getting real close to the mic when I laugh, because I'm there's no pop filter on that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Okay. Try this again. Third time's a charm. Bats can find motionless insects on leaves in the dark. This was thought to be impossible because of the acoustic camouflage provided by the leaves should cause their echolocation system to not work. Great. I forgot a word, so it's not work right now. Biologists have now discovered how bats overcome this problem. So I'm going to go down, and I'm going to get Pansy to read this part out.
Oh, okay. These big words, I can't do big words.
It's not big words,
Okay.
I'm just...
All I'm thinking is literally a bat with a leaf, and it's
Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing. They hover around it to pick up the different dimensions, I think, and see if there's an insect on it. I think, because I need to reread this.
I mean, to be honest, movement and also shadows at nighttime from the moon.
Yeah.
We'd be smart bats, honestly. If we were a bat, we would be hunting so crazy.
Okay, I'm going to stop moving because I'm probably making a bunch of noise on this mic, so I'm really sorry. Alright, so where is it now? To understand how bats overcome acoustic camouflage and seize their prey, the researchers aimed sound waves at a leaf and without an insect for more than 500 positions in order to create a full three-dimensional representation of the echoes. At each position, they calculated the intensity of the echoes for 5 different frequencies of a sound that represented the frequencies of a bat's call. Leaves both with and without insects strongly reflect back, and the sound, if it comes from straight ahead, less than 30 degrees, when the bat approaches from these angles, it cannot find its prey because of the strong echoes from the leaves mask. Echoes from the insect. I'm going to pop the thing up so you guys can read along, because if you're watching on YouTube, this is going to be a lot easier than mine.
I kind of get it though, because, their ear senses, their eyes, they can fly.
I don't know how else they would do it.
I'm just trying to imagine myself using a leaf to hunt, but bats have so much more, stuff than we do.
So much more sensitive than humans are. So dumb.
Our ears, honestly, it's dogs can hear a mile away, and it's I can't even hear if someone's outside my house.
We think we can do stuff because we have thumbs, but In reality, we are so silly compared to a lot of animals. Like,
Definitely.
we can build a house and have thumbs. Good for us, but that's
Yeah.
we're still not going to beat bats if we run out of food. Like,
No, definitely. We can't hunt with leaves.
no. Anyway, sorry. I'll go back to that. Carry on. I can't say this guy's name, so I'm not even going to read it. You guys can read it up there. I'm going to try anyway. Guy Powell?
No.
And his colleagues found that if the sound if the sound originates from oblique angles rather than 30 degrees, the sound is reflected away from the source and the leaves act like a mirror. Just as a lake reflects the surrounding forest at dusk and dawn, the approaching angle makes the resting everything cut off, so I didn't set the camera properly, so it only recorded for like 20 minutes.
That's okay, 20 minutes is a long time.
Yeah,
I'm surprised if you're still here, so.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. But I'm going to have to finish off with half of my sentence because, yeah, it just cut off, so. Alright, so now that I've read it once, hopefully it'll be a bit easier. Alright, but Guy Powell and his colleagues found that if the sound originates from oblique angles greater than 30 degrees, the sound is reflected away from the source and the leaves act like a mirror. Just as the lake reflects the surrounding forest at dusk and dawn, the approaching angle makes the resting insect detectable. So, yeah, something that was thought to be impossible is
possible.
Extremely possible.
I mean, we were just talking about, as well as that, imagine being a scientist and, you know, studying animals like this. It's incredible, to be honest, because like, whoever gets to do that?
You've got to be pretty damn clever to be able to do that. Like, I'm like totally out of
literally
screen.
in my notes I'd be like bat flying. Bat
this one
insect.
is brown. This
Chocolate
one is
colour brown.
black. It looks yummy. Can I cuddle him?
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, we'd be the worst scientists. We would be taking all the rescue ones home. Like, yeah.
When people ask me, why don't you become a vet nurse? That's why. Like, I ain't clever.
Oh yeah.
I ain't clever.
And I don't like blood, so yeah.
I don't mind blood. I worked with sick people, so that's not
Oh,
really,
yeah, true.
Yeah, I was a healthcare assistant for like 5 years, so I dealt with the elderly and disabled people and pregnant people and babies and all sorts of stuff. I loved it. It was cool. But
Rewarding.
yeah, hospice was my favourite. Dementia care. I like looking after things. So that's probably why I have 1,000 animals. But makes some sense.
Very true. Okay, so I've got some really funny ones to share with you. Well, one to share with you. When I read this, I was like, what the actual fuck? And I want your opinion.
Yeah.
Because, whew. Okay, so a woman married her dog. Her name is Elizabeth. She tied the knot with her dog, Logan. She decided to marry her dog because apparently she lost faith in dating, apparently going on over 221 disastrous dates. I don't know how she got that number, but that was on the article. She's an ex-model and former celebrity, and her friend basically jokingly suggested that she should marry her dog, and she did. Logan, the husband, he is a 6-year-old golden retriever, one of your favourites.
Golden boys?
Yeah, but Logan was a rescue, and his previous owner locked him in a cupboard and beat him. And she rescued him and then married him. It's like a legit marriage. And it was done on TV. And I read somewhere one of the Love Island people were like groomsmen for the dog.
I think my face says it all right.
I mean, can she does the dog get a say? Can she get a divorce? Does the dog get a choice in divorce?
Yeah, is this like statutory rape? Like, I'm very confused. Like, is that what you'd consider that? Like, I guess.
I don't think she's doing it.
Well,
with
no,
her
because
dog.
I guess
Surely
that's
it's
not really.
It's just paper marriage. I mean, there was this article about a lady that married a chandelier.
Yeah, and there's fuck. Okay, I need to like be able. I wish I could bring this up, but maybe I'll try bring it up next time if we won't get like completely demonetized. But there's a show, and I think it played on H3 showed it or something. I don't know how we found it, but we went through this weird phase of watching really bizarre people. One of my favorite topics.
Me too.
You should watch Items, this new video. It's hilarious. The dude is. If that's his new series, I'm so down. Like, it's you should go watch it.
Will do.
But yeah, I forgot what I was talking about. But it's just stop.
It was something about being demonetized.
Demonetized. Oh yeah. The lady married like a Ferris wheel. It was like getting down with that Ferris wheel, like,
Okay. No thanks.
Nasty.
No thanks. Okay. No thanks. Yeah. All right. So that's our news for the week. Should we start on the main topic then?
yeah, I'm a bit flustered after that. How do you marry a dog? Like,
I really, really, really just wanted to mention that because it's like, whoa.
I'm so glad you did.
I mean, we go from bats, scientists, research to a
dog marriage.
That's what you're gonna
Dog
get.
human
Yeah.
marriage.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. As long as I don't start popping out kids, I think we're all right.
Yes. No, that's no, thank you. No, thank
Just
you.
keep it to yourself, please. There's some things, most things you can share whatever you want to share, but like if you're marrying your dog, maybe, I don't know, like bestiality, maybe keep that to yourself.
No,
I don't know.
No more, no.
Just saying, keep that to yourself, please. Thanks.
Definitely.
This podcast took a real
Weird.
yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Sorry.
Thanks if you're still here again.
All right. So yeah, we'll do adoption versus buying today, which we also.
I'm like trying to just make sure that I'm in the screen because I keep like getting out of it. So.
Oh yeah, I'm just.
It's a bit confusing because like if we were just putting this on like Spotify or something, I would just not be worried about
We'd
it.
be in your bed.
Yeah, I'd just be lying down.
Sipping on coffee.
Upside
eating.
down.
Yeah.
Just put the mic up here.
Yeah.
Hey guys. So.
Yeah. No, well, we know adopting versus buying is very controversial.
Yeah, extremely controversial.
I mean, both of us has done a bit of each.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Shall we start off with adopted or buying? Your pick.
We'll get buying out of the way because people
Okay.
get very fussy about that one.
Very.
And no, it's going to piss somebody off. But
Okay. Yeah.
we may as well just talk about it.
Well, my pros for buying, I mean, there are plenty of pros. You are able to get a young animal. Well, I know with adopting you are too, but you can get a young animal. As well as that, I feel if you get an animal from when it's young, you can also mould its personality better than getting a older animal that's already kind of set in their ways. And then my number one reason of why most people buy is because you get to pick what you want. Like if you're very set on a breed, which I know you are, and I am kind of too, but yeah, you get to pick a dog that, that's just that breed and that's the pedigree dog that you want. Yeah. And I think that's the hard thing about adopting is you have to go find and then, I mean,
sometimes there's waiting lists. Some people don't want to stay on the waiting lists.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
And like another pro, like we have pretty much the same pros and cons, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But another pro, like for me working at the pet store, we have tried a lot to we don't have dogs in there. We've had dogs in there one time. Mm-hmm. And we have tried to find the dogs that would be suitable for our store that we could actually humanely take care of. And like we're a very small family-owned store, so we don't operate like a lot of chain places, so we get to make a lot of decisions that are better for the animals, I think.
That chain stores don't get to really make.
Yeah. So like we won't bring big dogs into the store because it's not fair to keep them in the space that we have. It's just not fair. So we struggle to find small dogs at rescues that are young. I know you can find them, but a lot of the people that are going to be listening to this are from America because a lot of our audience is from the States.
Definitely.
I think you guys need to realize that a lot of countries are not as big. We have a very, very, very small country. Like we have 4 million people in our entire country. That's like less people than that are
one state in America.
than one city in America. Like there's a lot more things to consider than just like there's a lot of people out there. You go get those. For me, like I'm, for instance, set 100% set on a golden retriever. Like the day I can get a dog, a golden retriever is the dream animal I want. Like a golden retriever and a Malamute, because we're moving into the snow, so it would be appropriate. I wouldn't get a Malamute in a place that was warm because it's just, I don't have any, I'm not trying to shine anyone. It's just my, it's just me. But yeah, it's just one of those things. We don't often, it can be quite hard to find them here. Like it sounds like an excuse, but it's not. It can be very hard to find, and like old people don't want big dogs. They don't want a pit bull cross. They can't handle a pit bull cross. Yeah. And it's not very easy to find like a Pomeranian or like I don't know, that's the first small dog that popped into my head, but
Yeah,
like it's
well,
hard to find that.
With rescue dogs, the only other thing I find, I've seen this with quite a lot of my friends that get a rescue dog, you expect it to be a medium size or a big size, but it's completely opposite because they don't know the dog's background.
Yeah.
And that's the only other good thing about buying, especially if it's a good breeder. You know, you have the parents' backgrounds, you have the hip scores, you have all the testing done, and that's something you can avoid. Yeah, that's something you can avoid down the track, which is the dog getting sick. But if you adopt a dog and they promise you it's going to be a medium-sized dog, and then it turns out it's a massive dog, what are you going to do?
Oh gosh, sorry, I need a tissue.
Oh, no worries.
Like, nose running all of a sudden.
Take your time.
No, but it's very true. Like, there's just, for sometimes adopting is not appropriate for some people. And some places it's a lot harder. Like, for me, my first choice is rescue, if I can rescue a golden retriever, a young golden retriever, because it's been 15 years since I owned a dog. I would really love to have that bond from a young puppy to an adult. Like, and I think as my second dog, I would like to adopt an adult from a rescue, but it's one of those things that, am I going to find one? Am I going to be spending 5 years looking for one? But there is options like the Blind Foundation. You can go on a waiting list, and they ex-blind dogs or blind dogs that, like puppies that don't make the cut.
Yeah, they don't make it into it,
They just don't, their personalities don't work with being a guide dog or a disability dog.
But that's a good thing about you, because you want a golden retriever, but there's people that are very specific that wants, I don't know, like an Italian greyhound or something, and it's saying that we're from New Zealand. I remember I searched French bulldogs, and we've only got like 6 breeders.
Like,
we don't have a lot of breeders here,
Like, there's puppy mills for sure, but not really in the sense or the scale. I mean, I don't agree with puppy mills full stop, but
definitely.
It's a lot easier for our pet stores, I feel, to make smarter decisions because of the smaller population that we have. We've only got so many people that you can go to. Like, for instance, like ragdolls and Maine Coons. There's basically the same people year after year that are putting them up online and for sale and stuff like that, and they're selling them to pet stores because it's like the same 10 people. Like, that's it. Like,
that's all we have,
I don't know, like, one of, like, the people I know through work is a Munchkin cat breeder. And, like, there's 2 of them, like, in New Zealand. Like, I think there's, like, 2 or 3 of them. Like, there's not very many, so please tell me if I'm wrong, but,
yeah, there's not a lot. And
there's not a lot.
The only other thing, it's like, I don't want everyone to go out and buy
No.
rather than adopt. But I was thinking, like, you know, you could buy through someone that wants to rehome their dog. You can buy through, I don't know, accidental pregnancies. And I was also thinking, what if you're a start-off breeder, you have all your pups, most of them go, the other half doesn't. And I'm like, what happens to those dogs?
Yeah.
Do they get sold off for a cheaper price and then they go to a worse home? I don't know. I just feel a lot of the times you pay what you get, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, if it's a good breeder and they really do care, I don't think there's any harm in it, to be honest.
I think there's also, like, not vaccinating. I mean, that's another topic. Like, spaying and neutering. I love, like, my favourite thing is seeing a breeder going, all my animals are spayed and neutered before they're adopted out.
Yeah, or you have to sign a contract.
Yeah.
No breeding. Yeah,
if you do, you can get pinged real hard. And, like, I think that's how you should do it. Like, if you're going to do it responsibly. Like, I don't think everything should be off limits. Like, things are going to go extinct if we don't keep populations up. Sorry, excuse my French, but, you know, I'm a little heated on that. Like, we have to keep populations up with some things.
Yeah, and we were talking about breeding bearded dragons. Well, you were talking about breeding dragons at one stage, and I was telling you how if I breed bearded dragons, I wouldn't be able to let the babies go. And, like, we would have, like, a strict as contract, monthly, you know, visits for a year, make sure they have all the setup correct.
That's basically, like, half the reason our friendship formed, because we're like, we have the same kind of values and stuff.
But it's very important that if you are buying an animal, that you do give everything you can for it. Yeah, if you buy an animal just for the sake of security for a dog, you know, because you're in a bad area and you can't afford, I don't know, an alarm, so you get a dog that's $50 instead. It's like, no, that's not what a dog's for. I'll take your dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then, cons of buying, I think a lot of people will understand, you know, don't buy from puppy mills, don't buy from backyard breeders, make sure they're
responsible, basically. We just basically said that.
Yeah,
like, they need to be responsible.
Yeah, and I think the only con that I really hate about people that buy dogs is when they buy French Bulldogs. I don't want to say this, but I do, only because I feel, you know, English Bulldogs, British Bulldogs, French Bulldogs, they can't even breed naturally. And that's just what makes me so angry, that sometimes the mothers, like that French Bulldog mothers, they can't even lie down.
Yeah.
Because their legs are just so deformed. And then to get the puppies out there to have a C-section. Yeah. I mean, if there were, like, better ways of breeding French Bulldogs, I totally reckon we should do it.
Yeah, like, if they could at least do it themselves, sort of deal.
And plus, people sell French Bulldogs for, like, thousands. I saw on
ouch and a half.
one of the YouTube people in America, they bought, like, a $23,000 French Bulldog because it was a certain blue colour.
Are you insane?
Yeah, and
$23,000 in a Bulldog?
Yes. And I'm just like...
Well, maybe everybody should be paying $20,000 and we really consider our pets a little bit more.
Yes, yeah, well, definitely. I mean, for the mother to struggle that much to give birth to the puppies,
that's worth the $20,000.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
That poor freaking dog, but not the dog should get that $20,000. Not
the
parents.
get the dog. Yeah, put savings in for that dog. Put
We're gonna need it for nipples and the fucking hand.
Yeah, we'll need surgery and stuff.
Sorry, guys, I'm trying not to swear. I'm a real potty mouth. Like, it's terrible. So I'm trying to, like, if I feel like coming, I'm trying to do it under my breath.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, like, I need to train myself out of it, and it's terrible. Like, at least when I'm filming for YouTube, I can splice it up, cut it up. Like, it doesn't really matter. But, yeah,
Audio.
sorry. I just want to apologize, because
Right,
I just don't, yeah.
No?
Sorry.
Oh, that's alright. We'll go on to adopting, because I think that's everyone's choice of, getting a pet in the long run.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like we, like, kind of talked about both of them, but...
Yeah, no, well, there's more with adoptions, I personally
reckon. I think there is.
But there's also cons with adoptions that I kind of want to talk about as well.
Yeah.
So, what are your adopted animals?
My adopted animals, I have... oh, Lord. A lot of my animals were bought. Reptiles in New Zealand are a lot harder than other countries. Like, we have, like... For instance, I'm just going to give you, like, a rough idea. The Facebook group for, like, Reptiles New Zealand has, I think, 2,000 people in it. So if that gives you an idea of, like, the people that are online, that, like, we don't have that much.
No, not
like,
at all.
there's not a lot here. And they're very, very expensive. Like, bearded dragons are about $500. Leopard geckos are about $500.
Yeah.
Blue tongue skinks are the cheapest, weirdly.
Water dragons are quite cheap as well,
Yeah,
$150 I think.
Yeah, they're about the same price as blue tongue skinks.
But it's weird because with water dragons, the older they get, the larger they get, the more they're worth.
I always see people selling them for like $1,000. And
Yep,
you're
the
like,
big ones.
Actually, I'm going to show you. Somebody's selling it. Sorry, off topic, but somebody's selling an enclosure and it is huge.
Honestly?
And it comes with like this water dragon is the biggest water dragon I've ever seen. Like, it looks like the size of 3 water dragons and it's for sale with its massive enclosure for like $1,500. And I'm like,
honestly, yeah. Anytime.
Drool.
Anytime on like Trade Me or like Marketplace, we see a tank that's not like a standard size tank. We're like,
yeah, oh my god.
Where did you get this? Because literally, this is all we have. Yeah, all we have is
like,
these.
I made these because I didn't want to spend $300 on a. You know, like, I mean, you guys can pick up your tanks for like $1 a gallon in the States. The cheapest terrarium you could buy in stores is like $400. So, like, our price differences are extremely, extremely different. Like, it's not even just conversion. It's like, there's prices added to that.
I was
like,
gonna say,
it's
supply and demand as well.
Yeah, and it costs a lot to, like, ship things here. Like, there's certain things that I, like, would like to order through the pet store, but, like, we can't because it's just, the companies won't ship them. Like, the companies just, like, the supply companies won't ship them because it costs so much money, and some things are very delicate, so if that breaks, that's costing the company a lot of money, because some things are not cheap to make.
Definitely.
Let's be real. Some things are very cheap to make, and then some things are not, so, I don't know. It's one of those weird topics. Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent.
One of the cons I did want to bring up about adopting is, so I've recently adopted Sage.
I didn't say which ones I adopted. That's where we started.
Yeah, adopting. No, it's okay. So I recently adopted a cat called Sage. She's a 6-year-old ex-breeding ragdoll. And the only difficulty I find with adopting such an old animal is they are so stuck to their ways and you basically just cannot train her. Like Sage, she will meow at 2 a.m, 4 a.m, 5 a.m every day and wake the whole flat up.
And ragdolls are quite chatty anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, but still. And so I ended up searching on this article about this girl who adopted a dog, and she also said basically the same thing. The dog was very, fearful, was aggressive, was so hard to train because it was such an old dog. And I feel with adopting, especially if you are adopting an older pet, you have to take that extra mile step for them, especially if they aren't friendly, they're not trained, or, if you've got other pets at home and you have to introduce and it's just a bit longer of a process. I mean, I've had Say since March, I think, and she's only started to slow down and meow twice a night rather than 3 times a night. Yeah, because they're very unsettled, I think, and especially since, if she lives till 12, so 6 is half her life, her other half of her life she's been, I don't know, in a cage somewhere, so it's a huge adjustment for them. Yeah, so I think that's just one of the cons that I find with adopting. It's you don't know their past, and it's just that extra effort that you have to put in compared to a pup.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know anything and just wants to play.
Like, a lot of people don't want to, I know it sounds terrible, but a lot of people don't necessarily want to or have the time to sit there and rehabilitate a dog or an animal. Like, Omen, when I adopted her, my leopard gecko, my adult, she had been in quite the state. She was kind of just manhandled by some toddlers, and she dropped her tail, so her tail had grown back. Like, there's a lot. She was missing toes. She had stuck shit everywhere. She was skinny. Like, when I got shown photos of her, she was completely healthy. I rocked up there, and she was not healthy at all. So things like that happen as well, and then people go, I'm not adopting a dog because I rocked up there and that happened, and I don't want to go through that again because, it hurts. I don't want to see an animal like that, and no, I can't take care of it. Some people don't have the, skills or know-how to do it.
Well, especially when it comes to reptiles, I find, and I think that's why we get reached out quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's very confusing. I think that's the same with dogs, to be honest. If you do research about a certain breed, it's, one page can tell you one thing and the other can tell you the other. But I think it just really depends on the animal itself, and providing that you've given all you can for it,
Sorry for the noise.
Oh, stretch. I mean, providing you've given all you can for the animal, dietary, environment, love. Yeah. It should be fine. Yeah. But yeah, that's the only other thing I found about adopting is the history as well. You don't know the history of the dog. No, medical wise, as well as breed wise, sometimes you can't tell with the breed, which is really difficult. And yeah, I just find that's really hard, especially if you do have a dog, that had, I don't know, for example, hip dysplasia back in the day, and it gets hip dysplasia again, you're basically having to pay for that. Yeah, so, I mean, overall, adopting feels way better than buying, definitely. Well, especially for the price that you get an adopted cat for, D6, vaccinated, and microchip for $80. Kitten's $110.
Yeah.
Compared to a purebred Mancoon, which is $1,000, which I still want those.
Yeah, but no, it is so true. The prices are definitely way less of an ouch. I'll just give you a ballpark figure, because a lot of people won't understand our animal prices. My rabbit, I paid $80 for her. She's a mini lop. She was from a pet store. I wasn't planning on going to a pet store, but I walked in there and she was there. We had already been getting everything set up, and it wasn't a spur, I guess it was a spur of the moment, but it wasn't we weren't ready for it. She was there. She had been terrorized. She had been taken home by somebody with her brother rabbit, had been picked on by a bunch of other rabbits, got taken back to the store, got transferred to a different store, and was just in her hutch, in her little hidey hole, just shaking. She didn't want anybody to go near her, and my partner kind of gravitated towards her, and I just once I laid eyes on her, I was like, nah, we're taking her home. And like,
So didn't you walk up with all crying?
yeah, I left, and then I went to the plant store, and then I like looked at Ray, and I had like tears in my eyes, and I was like, I'm gonna be so upset for the rest of the day. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna leave that thing there, you know, like, it's clearly so terrified, and there were kids putting their grubby hands everywhere, and I just like, it was like in this open thing where you just put your hands in, and like, it's,
well,
I don't know, it just bothered me, and I ended up bringing her home, but that was $80, but she's not spayed, not vaccinated, nothing. Oh. So that's the cost on
just
me.
For the rabbit. Yeah.
Whereas if I went to the SPCA or a rescue, it can be as much as about $150, but then generally they're vaccinated and everything. But I've seen them for about $35 through the SPCA, vaccinated everything. You know, like.
Well, I mean, to be honest, that's another thing about buying. If you're going to put that much money onto a rabbit, or if you're going to put that much money into a rabbit, or, you know, $1,000 into a golden retriever, you need to know that you'll have to pay for the desexing. And, you know, desexing with rabbits, well, desexing any animal can come with complications. And, you know, what if they had that complication? It costs more than the normal
what if they die?
Price. Yeah, or they die.
I know that doesn't sound great, but I mean the amount of rabbits that pass away because they just couldn't handle the anesthesia.
Yeah, and a lot of times what they have to do is pre-bloods to forge, you know, anesthetic, and the pre-bloods will cost you at least $200, so $200 on top of $300. Yeah, so if you're going to buy a $1,000 dog, you know you have to set money aside for other stuff that the breeder didn't provide. I kind of
like, I know this is probably not the right way of thinking, but I do wish that all animals were very expensive. I wish they were, because like getting reptiles wasn't just let's go to the store, let's get a lizard. Like, it wasn't, like, I spent 2 years researching before I got my first reptile, because I knew I was going to have to spend $1,000 on the setup. I was going to have to spend at least $500 on the animal I wanted. I was going to have to learn everything, you know, like, it makes you double think when an animal does cost a lot of money. And I think that's partly why I like the idea of a golden retriever. I did have to buy it from a breeder, because I'd like to go to a breeder that already spays and neuters before they even hand them out. If I was to go to a breeder. Preferably not, but, you know, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm not even anywhere near ready for a dog yet, so it's just things that you need to consider, and, like, I'm knowing, okay, this dog is this expensive. I'm going to know I have to have this much saved up. I know I can't just wake up one day and go, let's go. Yeah. Let's go get a dog.
I mean, like, when I used to work at the pet shop, people used to come into that and do that all the time. They used to come in and be like, I've got $20 and I want a bird. Or like, I've got $20 and I want a goldfish. And I'm like, girl, you can't buy $20 for it. I can give you a goldfish, but nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah, and even then I'm going to feel so guilty for the next 6 weeks because I don't do that damn goldfish. Like.
Yeah, honestly. So I think overall, whether you're buying or adopting, there is financial strain that comes with each. Some may be more, some may be less. And emotional strain as well. Yeah. I mean, as we say, buying a puppy is awesome, but buying a puppy is tiring. I mean, you bought home a puppy.
I bought home a puppy for a night.
Yeah.
One night. Like a tester night. I just wanted to get the puppy fever out of me. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's like a 2-year-old child for life until the train.
I honestly, like, I thought my rabbit was a lot, but like a small, like, it was a small dog as well, so it's like a little bit more
hyper?
Separation anxiety. Oh. So like it wanted to be by me all the time, and like it would get upset if I was like walked away from the couch and didn't put it on the ground, or, you know, like.
That's what I find a lot. It's very 50-50 whether you're buying or adopting. A lot of dogs nowadays get separation anxiety. And, you know, there's actually anxiety medication for dogs. Yeah. Which is the most craziest thing. And the other day, I was reading about...
blankets?
Yeah. And
coats?
Yes, those coats,
It's
and
like,
the other day I was reading about this cat who couldn't sleep because it had anxiety when its owners would leave him. So its owners actually got prescribed the cat sleeping pills. Yeah. So...
Wouldn't you be able to do something about your husbandry of that animal? Like... For me, it just sounds so bizarre having to give an animal, like, an antidepressant or a sleeping medication to, like, isn't... please tell me if I'm wrong. I'm probably way off on this, but I don't know, it just seems so off. Like,
I don't know
if your animal's misbehaving to the point where it's not doing its natural behaviors, it's needing medication to
sleep.
Like, surely there's something wrong with your husbandry. Like, not trying to be a dick here, please tell me if I'm wrong, but like,
or
I mean, if your animal's having problems shitting generally, not all the time, but generally, it's because
you're doing something. Yeah.
You're doing something wrong. Your humidity's wrong. You didn't shit this right, and that's okay. I'm not trying to say you're the devil because it's far from it, but
I mean, well,
you know, it's the truth.
That's like Sage, when Sage used to meow 3 times a night, and I think it's the effort that you also have to put in. Like, I'm not sure how much effort she put in before getting sleeping medication for a cat.
Yeah, I mean, she may have done everything she could, I don't know.
But it's also the effort, like, I've lost so many nights sleeping because Sage is just so scared, so you have to calm her down, pet her, make sure she's purring. Yeah, I'll put a video up if I can, but basically she has to like be on one of my body parts, and a lot of the time she holds my hand when she sleeps, and then, you know, at the middle of the night you like just take it off, don't cry.
I love her. I'm actually gonna cry.
I'll show you that video soon.
So much. She's the best cat. Like,
I'll show you that video soon, but she was holding my hand, and you know when you sleep and you just kind of tattle and tossle. I took it away and she grabbed my hand back.
I've literally got tears in my eyes. Like,
She didn't want to attack me, but she
softest little wet noodle on the planet.
She literally grabbed my hand back, didn't want to like bite because she was like, no. So she licked me. Like, she just kept grabbing it but kept licking my hand, and I was like, oh girl, I'm so sorry. Like, you know, it's the effort that you have to put in to make sure they're comfortable. And I've lost so much sleep over her because she fucking meows every time, but like once you get them calm.
Like, you're willing to do that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like with a lot of rescues, and to be honest, purebred dogs, they get anxiety, but that's the effort you have to put in. Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people take their dogs to work nowadays because they have social anxiety and a separation anxiety, not social anxiety. But yeah, it's the extra effort you have to put in. I mean, if your workplace allows you to bring your dog. I mean, with Huggles, when my rabbit Huggles was sick, she used to come to work with me, and I used to put her under my desk. Yeah, in a cage, and it's just that extra effort I feel that you have to put in with buying an animal in general.
Yeah.
And that's when I get really pissed off when people are just like, nah, I don't want this dog, it's too aggressive, I can't train it. Or like, oh, this dragon is too hard to take care of, can't be bothered. New UVB, you know, a new UV like every 8 months, nah, too expensive. It's like, you can't just toss that one thing aside because of, you know, whether you're giving up your time or you're giving up something financial.
And like, if it comes to the point also, like, where, I know this is kind of in a different topic in a way, but like, if you get to the point where you do have these animals and you get to the point where you're like, I can't be bothered anymore, then that's time for you to surrender them. Like, that is...
Don't keep them till they die.
Don't. Like, I don't think, like... I think a lot of people feel really guilty for thinking they can take on a big load of animals and then realising, hold on, I can't.
Hey, that's what I tell you.
Yeah. But like, I still feel... Like, I feel very confident in my ability to take care of what I have, and I think, like... I'm being pretty clear.
No, you are very good.
Pretty trying to think about a lot of things, and it may seem like to a lot of people, like, because I don't really air for the people that follow me in particular, I guess.
You don't what? You don't air?
I don't air my...
Oh, A-I-R.
Yeah, air.
I don't mean air like your ears.
Sorry, my weird ass accent. Like, I don't really air my thoughts on a lot of things, so like my plans and how long I've been thinking about something, like the rabbit. I don't think I ever mentioned getting a rabbit on Instagram or anything. Like, that was nothing I ever really mentioned, but it was something that Ray and I have talked about for 5 years. Like, it's a lot of people thought I was like just impulse buying something, or like there's certain animals where Ray and I have both been like, not yet, not yet. And the rabbit, it was kind of like, okay, now I'm ready. You know, like, whereas, like, he's wanted one for the longest time, but I wasn't ready to have that running around the house because I didn't really understand. There were certain things I didn't understand. Like, I'd taken in rabbits that I'd found on the street, found them, their homes, and that's it. You know, like, I've never really had a long-term rabbit, but then spending time with you and Huggles, like, Huggles, like, completely changed my mind. Like, for those of you who haven't seen any videos on Huggles, please go to Pansy's page. Huggles has passed, but...
I've also got this one video I will post up on here. So she came and visited Huggles's and she was sitting on this one corner of my bed just petting her and feeding her treats, and when she left, Huggles just sat there like the entire night, and I sent you a video and I was like, look at this girl, she's waiting for you to come back. Like, honestly, I just like reptiles, I totally reckon people underestimate the intelligence of a rabbit, a guinea pig, a mice, a rat, reptiles, you know, leopard, geckos, even fish.
Yeah, fish.
People, well, not even underestimate the intelligence, they underestimate how much effort you have to put in. And I think that's the main thing we struggle with.
To show
with
those
telling
good
people,
parts of the intelligence, not just the, I know how to rip something up.
Yeah. We were just saying how, we try to show our bad sides and our good sides. Oh yeah, you lost the lizard.
Yeah, I lost the lizard. So.
Yeah, I've left Ocho out overnight before. You let them roam, you forget, and then you open up the occasion next day and you're like, oh no, where you gone? Yeah, so.
I took the screen off my bearded dragon, like the corner of her cage, because I didn't like the mesh and the UVB, and I'm waiting to get her new enclosure. But yeah, I found her out of it one day, and she was like half under the UVB light and half out of it, and I don't know how long she'd been there. Like, I flipped out. Like, I nearly cried. Like, I was like, she was fine. There was nothing wrong with her, but I'm not perfect. Hell no. Like, I make some dumb decisions. Like,
I've left Ocho's tank wide open before she's fallen out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that was like a huge fall. Like,
sorry, honestly, I feel bad for laughing, but like it's like
nothing happened. She didn't break a leg or anything, luckily. But no, I totally reckon if you buy a pet or adopt a pet, at the end of the day, as long as you put the effort in, they'll be fine.
Pagan jumped off me and hit first into the concrete.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, she's fine. She just had a scrape. I had to keep it clean, but
easy.
Like that was another dumb move. So none of us are perfect. Please don't feel like you have to be an angel saint of a pet keeper, because I think that's just a ridiculous. Especially in like this whole pet community on YouTube in particular, like in Instagram.
It's rough.
Damn.
It's like a fighting field out there, honestly.
It's worse than high
you have
school.
to pick one side or the other, and you can't be in between, and if you don't say anything, they'll be like, oh my god.
You can't even wish somebody well. Like,
no.
Whether or not I like them or agree with what they do, like I can't even be like, hey, hope you have a good day. Like, you know, without being like, oh, you support every bad thing they've ever done, how dare you? And it's like, oh, fuck off, please.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a
grow
tough
up. Like, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Like, there's plenty of people, I'm sure, like, that we don't have in common. There are people that we don't like, that each other likes, but I don't have any problem with you. No. Like,
I think
I like that you're different. I like that you like different things. I like if all of my friends like the same people, like the same everything, I would go insane. Like, if everybody had the same opinion on something, I would lose my goddamn mind.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
All my friends are so different. Like,
very. At your engagement party, there's like, it's literally like high school, but everyone's friends.
Yeah.
Because like, you have different friend group, and like everyone's like, looks a bit different, like different things, but everyone just mushes together very well.
From extreme emo kids.
Yep.
Extreme metal kids to extremely preppy private school
Yep.
kids. Like,
Definitely.
I love every different kind of people, and I think this is going to be really good for us. I think we both love just talking. And
but speaking of not liking the pet community, we're back.
Yeah, we've both been on a bit of a hiatus.
Yeah, like, we've put ourselves right back into it, but I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how long this podcast has been, but I hope it's long enough for you to have stayed this long. But yeah.
And one thing, I just want to put this out there. If you're coming here for us talking about people in the pet community and gossip and things like that, that's not going to happen. That's not what we're here for. We're just here to talk about animals, and if we mention people, it's because
we're here to talk to each other.
Yeah, we're here to have a yarn, and if we talk about somebody, it's not ever to shit on them. It's not ever to there's plenty of things that people do that I completely disagree with, and I'm sure there's plenty of things that I do that people disagree with, and I think that's totally okay. I don't want to sit here and turn this into a gossip channel, or sit here and just talk shit about other YouTubers. Somebody might do something, I'm like, oh, that was dumb, and then carry on. I can agree that the action was dumb and not hate the person.
Very true.
I do dumb stuff. My mum does dumb stuff. My brother does dumb stuff.
We all do
dumb stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to make that clear, because I think a lot of people might think that that's where this may head, but it's not.
No.
That is something that we're both very, very
we stay away from.
Yeah, even with each other, we don't sit there and really gossip about people.
No.
Like, that's never been our friendship. Like,
No.
I don't really have anyone that I sit there and gossip with. Like, if I have a problem, I just keep it to myself.
To be honest, if we
I'll tell them.
to be honest, if we ever bitch about someone, it's about our pets.
Yeah, it's usually being like, oh, how did they do that? Or like, oh.
Guess what my pet did the other day, dumbass. Yeah, that's literally all we talk about. So yeah. But yeah, this will be once a week uploaded.
Yeah, hopefully
Once a week. Yeah.
If
we miss 1 week, sorry. Lives, you know. Yeah. But yeah, we've got our social medias hopefully up and running by now once this is up.
Yeah, Instagram. Shasastorm and pansypan.
Yeah, and then we'll have one for this podcast, and then YouTube as well, and then all the other Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud,
everything will be linked. Everything will be linked. So
not sure what's happening yet. Yeah. Thank you for staying this long, and I enjoyed talking to you for an hour.
Me
that
too.
Was fun.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be.
We had accumulated sweat. Yeah. So much sweat. So
hopefully we don't sweat so much next time because we're like. You know.
Whew, calm down, but we're done for a bit. That was fun. All right. Thank you.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.